evening.
Hey.
Hey, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Soul Glitch Podcast, the podcast about things we thought we'd never have to say about Black culture, Black politics, and being Black in America. I'm one of your hosts, Dion,
And
and
I'm
my
Nicole.
co-host, and Nicole, and we have a third co-host, her cat,
You
who
better
can be.
leave my cat alone.
I hope everybody's doing good on this Mother's Day Eve, and that you've already purchased all your gifts and ready to show Mama some love tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night, Nicole, my phone, Twitter was blowing up. And you know
Mm-hmm.
me, I always say whenever Twitter blows up on my phone, one or two things have happened. A, someone has died, or
Mm-hmm.
two, somebody has said something or did something incredibly stupid.
Mm-hmm. And this time somebody died.
And this
Yeah.
time somebody died.
Yeah, I was at work because it's a 3 hour difference. So I was at work and I was busy dealing with the children. Yeah, there go my cat in the background. You can hear.
Our
I
third
was too
co-host, y'all.
I was too busy dealing with my students, and so I put my sister and my cousin on the case to verify.
Right. I didn't believe it. I was like,
Yeah.
no, not really.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna start by reading his obituary from the New York Times, y'all.
Okay.
He made it
So,
to the New York Times.
all right. Let me let me cue the
Music,
music for
please.
this homegoing service memorial.
Homegoing service. Mr. Kevin Samuels, a polarizing YouTube personality, dies at 57. Styling himself as an image consultant, Mr. Samuel aimed his advice at black men and women, drawing a large following and a chorus of detractors who condemned his views as outdated and cruel, to say the least of it. Kevin Samuels, a YouTuber and an Instagram personality whose blunt lifestyle advice aimed at black men and women drew a legion of admiring followers and a chorus of detractors who condemned his views as outdated and cruel, died on Thursday in Atlanta. He was 57 years old. His death was announced by two friends and fellow YouTube personalities, Dennis Sperling and Melanie King. Mr. Sperling, who is also a lawyer, identified himself as the family spokesman in an Instagram post. The Atlanta police said he was found unresponsive on the floor of his apartment. No cause was cited. Describing himself as an image consultant, Mr. Samuels had transformed in recent years from a personal stylist into a social media celebrity who built his following on an image of plain spoken, hyper masculine authority, usually wearing a finely tailored suit. The approach brought him more than 1 million followers on both YouTube and Instagram, and many of his supporters viewed him as taking a courageous stand for what they call traditional values. In his videos and posts, Mr. Samuels urged his followers to adhere to a rigid gender roles. He largely evaluated women for their appearance and youth, men for their assertiveness and money. He criticized women who he saw as too career focused and asked questions suggesting that women's interest in men was based mostly on their income. How much do you charge for a submission? No, how much he would ask the women, how much do you charge for submission? The message, the messages were repugnant to many, especially women, who said his views were misogynistic and promoted a brand of masculinity that harmed the men who listened to it. More than 30,000 people signed an online petition asking YouTube and Instagram to remove Mr. Samuels, saying he had galvanized the community of men of all races and nationalities in the outspoken hatred of women. On Thursday, when the word of his death first surfaced, Mr. Samuel became one of the leading topics on Twitter, with many of the most amplified voices speaking out against him. Kevin Samuels had basically made a profit and has made his profile consistently perpetuating harmful stereotypes about black men and women. Okay. Ernest Owens, a journalist, said on Friday, adding that a lot of his rhetoric and commentary was rooted in misogyny. Mr. Kevin Samuels, dead at age 57. May he rest in peace. There's a work.
Whew, chat.
See, that was
What's that?
Kevin. That was Kevin. That was Kevin tickling your throat because he know you got a lot to say.
You about right. Whew.
uh,
Was that respectful enough?
that was respectful enough. That was
Okay.
respectful enough.
Cause
I don't know what to say about that guy. um,
that song sums it up for me.
I mean, I once heard him say that feminism was ugly women's way of evening the playing field. Telling women if you're 35 or older with a
You
child
leftover.
and you're not married, you're left over.
Mm-hmm.
Controversial to say the least. I thought, like I told you before, I thought he was. I told you, he was like a preacher, a televangelist, preaching
Mm-hmm.
gospel of hatred toward women. I mean, plain and
Absolutely.
simple. He started out fine. Like I started listening to him a long time ago, so I was there as he transformed into something else. But like I said, he started by just doing image consulting, showing you how to dress, doing colognes, telling men what type of cologne to wear, candles. He loved candles and stuff like that. So that's where he started. And then he slowly um, evolved into the Kevin Samuels that we know today. Well, many of us know today. And the fact that the New York Times wrote an obituary for him says a lot because he had went from, at the time I was watching him, probably had 80,000 viewers, and he
Mm-hmm.
had went to probably over 1.5 million viewers. He was in popular rap videos. He was starting to become mainstream. And I told you, had he lived, I truly believe somebody would have either gave him a radio show or they would have gave him a television show. I firmly believe that. And so, but like I told you before, it's sad because when I look at um, like Rush Limbaugh or Kevin Samuels, the human side of me hate to see somebody pass, especially so painful and so in such a manner. But then when you look at the message, you know, I hate it for the messenger, but I will not miss the message. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. well, uh, I was introduced to him in a similar fashion. He had a video for perfumes for women.
He
So
did women's perfumes too.
mhm. He talked about women's perfumes in one of his videos. It was like three or four, and I was kind of looking into that sort of thing. And excuse me. And as I was looking through his channel, I saw a video where he was actually talking about what he referred to as his Henrys. So
Mm,
at once upon a time, he was actually focused and critiquing men and how they presented themselves. And he had a
mm-hmm.
video out there talking about how young men need to focus on just working and putting their money aside and saving and investing so that they will be worthy. And he had like this whole kind of setup where he would coach men on how to do better. So initially I was like, okay, Kevin, you got your whole little thing over there, whatever. I'm not really checking for that because I mean, I'm not a man. I don't have sons. My husband doesn't. My husband works, so he don't have time to be on social media like that. Like with you, the only time we can do podcasts is in the evening in the obscure hours because you're a working man, right?
Right.
If you out there working, especially men, they don't
Mm-hmm.
have time to be on. They don't have enough time to be on YouTube. Or social media like that. So yeah, I that's how I was introduced to him. Later on, though, I didn't realize that I had slipped into manospheric type circles on the YouTube space, and his name kept popping up. I was like, what? I keep talking about this man. Then was it about a year or so ago where this young lady called in
Is that
and
the average at best video?
yeah,
That's the one
yeah,
that
the
propelled
lady,
him to superstardom.
yeah, and it was really disgusting how he was talking to that woman. I mean, yeah, I don't understand. Like I to this day, I still don't get what he was talking about. And there's been things that come across social media where he said black women because according to him, we don't meet the golden ratio rule when it comes to beauty. They were literally the ugliest women on the planet. That
I remember that video.
and one that he did, ironically, about 3 days before he died. It might have been a little bit longer than 3 days because I feel like I saw videos about this a couple of weeks ago, where he said that if a child tells their mother that their father or stepfather or the boyfriend has been SAing them or Ming them, because again, it's YouTube, we can't say certain words, that the woman should ignore it and just assume that the child is lying.
I did not see that video, but
Yeah.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
So between that, leftover women comment, and also the irony too that he constantly berated black women on their weight, but yet he was having a one night stand with a woman who was over 220 pounds.
And she was white, wasn't she?
She's Hispanic, which I thought was hilarious that
Hispanic.
that happened on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh wow. Okay. Kevin's like, oh, let's take out the money. Oh, let me stop. That's wrong.
Hey.
One thing
So
that
yeah.
I saw a video. A young lady
Mm-hmm.
called in. She was 25 years old, educated, gorgeous. And everything he talked about, he couldn't say nothing to her because she was fit, she was
Friendly,
gorgeous,
feminine.
she was very respectful for him because she was on his platform. And so
Mm-hmm.
Kevin like, so do you have a question or comment? She said, I have one question. She says, I listen to all your videos. I know how you feel about black women and what the problem is. I just want to know, what do you like about black women? And he couldn't answer that.
I believe it.
You know what he switched over to? He started berating this woman because one of the things that she said, as she described as herself, and she was perfect. She says that I am saving my virginity till marriage. And instead of him answering that one question, what is one thing you like about black women? He spent 30 minutes on this woman.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she was saving herself for marriage. He
Was
couldn't
that the
even answer.
one where he was basically like, "Well, you've already opened it up. You might as well continue." Yada yada yada. Whoop de whoop. It's not
No,
wrong.
she
It's
was
not
virgin.
right.
No, I think
Oh, oh.
I told you this lady called in. She was beautiful. She was educated. She was agreeable. She was respectful toward him. The only question she had, what do you like about black women? And he couldn't answer it. And he just went off on her about um, saving herself for marriage. So, so he's one of them
That makes
guys
no
like,
sense.
and he's one of those guys like Rush Limbaugh. The people who love
Mm-hmm.
him like they love him. They follow him like they are true disciples, and they're like the beehive. If you make
Mm-hmm.
a one comment about Kevin Samuel and you disagree, they will come for you in the comments or on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they're worse than the beehive. So you tread lightly with Kevin Samuel fanatics. And a lot of my friends who love him that are female, I look at them
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, you are the very woman. He talks
Mm-hmm.
the most about all my female friends that like him and tout him. They're like over 35, they have children, and they're not married, never been married. He's talking about you, yet
Yeah,
they love him. I don't get it. I don't
they're
get it.
misogynists. They're black male identified.
Blackmail identity, that's what they call it.
Mm-hmm. They're very black male identified. Yeah, we had a couple of people in the chat. Woohoo! Look, I
I
was
know. I thought I
excited. I
saw
went in.
somebody came in. I'm like, what?
There's a couple of people in the chat. That's why I said hey to the ones in the chat and asked them what did they think of Kevin. So if any of them replied, and we can go in with that. But yeah, absolutely. There's plenty. I put it on the YouTube page too in the
And
group.
like you said, he started out good, and I think, like most preachers, a lot of them do start out kind of good on the straight and narrow, but then when he
Mm-hmm.
found out that he could, I think what happens is, and he is all about his analytics on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
because if you look at his videos, uh,
Mm-hmm.
while he's talking, he will pause the video and say, "I'm not saying anything else till I get my engagement up. Everybody get my
Yeah.
engagement up, get my likes, my
Mm-hmm.
dislikes." He always stops the video, get my likes up. He'll start playing the music. Sometimes he would play the music and had that young girl dancing until
Yes.
you get the likes up. Once the likes are up, and I would look over in the super chat, people would be sending him like $5, $3,
Mm-hmm.
$300, $500, and the whole
Crazy.
night in the chat. I'm like, wow, it's just money coming in the super chat the
It made
whole
no
time,
sense.
and
I
I'm like,
stopped. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, I couldn't believe it. One night, I know in the super chat, by adding it up, he had to make at least $5,000 in the super chat
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
alone.
I
People just
stopped
pouring in.
watching him when I saw that one night. And I don't even remember like what the topic was. He was so, oh no, I remember. This was before he got into his rating women, which was insane. It's still insane to me. He was the women supposedly were coming up to just have an image consultation, just like a pre little consultation thing. And I had it on in the background about I don't know what else I was doing. But this was the night I stopped listening to him when he it wasn't even just like with the analytics part. He was like, "Oh, in order for me to answer this question, y'all gonna have to pay me. I'll be back." And like you said, he stopped. He put on some kind of music or something, and he was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, the chats aren't high. The you're not paying me enough. You're not paying me enough. I need more money."
he played that Money World song, Money World, something like that.
Yes.
And
And I was just like, are you serious?
yeah, he's about his engagements and his analytics.
This
And
is a man who was found dead at a sublet apartment he was subletting.
see, that's another thing. A lot of people, the rumor is that he was broke.
I saw that today, but I saw like on the day of his death, people once it really started to get reported that he had actually passed, they were saying he was worth over $1 million, if not two. I
Well,
don't
they said
know
he had a
if
lot.
that's
I don't know.
accurate.
I don't know. But, I'm not in his pocket, and
Hmm.
he's a very successful businessman. He did
Hmm.
graduated with a degree. I want to say in chemical engineering or something, and
Hmm.
I want to say he had, so. Well, I did a quick calculation on his daily views, and I estimated from YouTube alone, minus the super chat, uh, that he had a, what 1.5 million views, subscribers, and he did about 200, 100,000 to 200,000 views on average per video. So I estimated that he
Hmm.
probably made somewhere between 160 to $275,000 on the high end off of just
Gotcha.
YouTube and not super chat. So roughly about $300,000. But
Hmm.
the gossip was he had a lot of credit card debt, which I don't know. I mean, he did wear some tight suits, and his shoe game, at least for them shoes he had in the video, he probably had just the shoes he showed in the video collectively.
Hmm.
That was
Hmm.
$10,000 worth of shoes in one video. So, and he would do those little videos from his car, and he looked like that Mercedes that he had was AMG. So that
Hmm.
Mercedes probably, if it was Mercedes, was probably $100,000.
Possibly.
I mean, he was in Atlanta,
So
right? Yeah,
yeah,
he's
he was
in
down in
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
So I mean, I ain't gonna say he was broke, but he wasn't. I mean, when you come to YouTube, you're not gonna make millions unless you're like a
Hmm.
David Dobrik or Casey Neistat, who have 8 million viewers, and they put out a video and 3 million people watch it. That's when
Hmm.
you're in the money. He was one of the more successful black YouTubers who do black YouTube. Him and Tasha K. I think Tasha K has 1 million subscribers. Kevin
Yeah.
Samuel has 1,000,005. But that being
Hmm.
said, the reason why I feel, my opinion, is why they got that many viewers is because they say some salacious stuff.
Hmm.
Right? Tasha K makes stuff. Love her to death, but she makes stuff up. She lies, and I ain't gonna say she lies, but
She
she will run.
embellishes a lot.
Yeah, she embellish, and she will run with something that hasn't been verified, and that's why Cardi B sued her and won,
Hmm.
and she still hasn't pretty much backed down from that.
Hmm.
So, and that settlement, and Cardi B says she gonna get every bit of that money from Tasha K.
I don't even really like the only I learned of Tasha K
Hmm.
when that whole Derek Jackson. Y'all see my kitty cat?
I told you he's the third host,
Oh yeah, he's
and he's
scratching. He's
black too.
yes, that's his name, Black with
Ooh,
a Q.
oh, he's
I
creepy.
only see. I purposely get black pets. My dogs. I have two dogs. They're outside, and my cats. I always get black because unfortunately on this part of the country, well, actually it's probably all over the place. But yeah, they do some weird stuff to animals during Halloween and some of those
Oh wow.
other satanic days. So when I want to get a pet and I go to the Humane Society or wherever I go, I make a point to get a black
Get
animal.
the black pet. Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah,
I,
back
I
to
mean, my husband said it was, my whole black power thing, but that ain't what it is. That's why I do it.
uh I thought maybe that's it.
No, no,
I'm so black power that I have black pets.
all my pets are black. No, there's something about. something in their rituals. I don't know. I don't want to know. But yeah, I purposely get the black cat specifically. But yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah,
yes. Going back to
but
Kitten
when it
Hills,
comes, yeah,
ironically.
Kevin Samuels and Tasha K and the I call him the religious guy. He's a religious guy who makes his money off of pretty much gossip. But there's two ways. I don't care. I wouldn't trade the show for a million viewers to be in that sphere that they work in. Like, first of all, I don't want to be a Kevin Samuels making money off of berating anybody. Number two, I never want to be a gossip monger
Mhm.
where my whole show is about gossip, especially gossip that's not true. So I never wanted to
Mhm.
operate in that space. But yeah, they probably were the most successful with a million views. I
Mhm.
don't know if anybody else has gotten that far to over a million.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I didn't know about Tasha K until that whole Derek Jackson thing broke. That was my introduction to her, and she was right about that.
Right. You know what?
Yeah, he
He
was on the
might
money.
have had over a million. He might have had over a
Yeah.
million.
Yeah,
He
before he
was
got cold.
popular before he
He was. Like, I would listen to him every so often. Um,
Right.
but I have a thing, and I know it's probably highly prejudiced, and some people aren't going to agree with me. But I don't like to listen to marriage advice from people who haven't been married at least as long as me. Um, and I know he had not been, so I would take what he said with a grain of salt. And I was not surprised when he was cheating on his wife.
Yeah, and Tasha K just, oh wow, destroyed him.
He put it all out there. But yeah, getting back to Kitten Hills. So I have a copy of the incident report from the Atlanta Police Department if we want to look at that. All
Yeah.
right, cool. Let
When
me
I
share.
first heard, like I told you, my first thought was when I first heard he died, and he was with a woman, I
Mm-hmm.
figured he was mixing uh Red Bull because that man loves some Red Bull. He pop them
Mm-hmm.
2, 3 a show
Mm-hmm.
and Viagra. I say he's probably taking Viagra and popping Red Bulls and had a heart attack. I mean, to be real about it, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
watched this show and this man downed at least three,
Guess them
and,
Red
and
Bulls
not
gave him
even the
wings.
small ones. He did 22-ounce Red Bulls at that, and they make my heart race when I drink my
I,
Red Bulls.
I refuse to drink them. They smell like diabetic pee to me.
Um,
I worked in a nursing home for a little bit after college, and mm-mm.
when I'm driving late at night, I'll get a Red Bull when I find myself drifting a little bit, and it wakes me right up. And yeah, and they do taste like battery acid, but I mean, it does the trick. It gets you right behind your jaw and it wakes you right up. But I find
Mm-mm.
that it only works for about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get where you're going in 30 minutes or you're gonna crash.
Mm-hmm.
So what it says, let's see what we got here.
Let's see, May 5th at 7:54. I think they do military time, so we can
Mm-hmm.
assume that this is 7:54 in the morning. And so the incident time span was from 6:04 in the morning until 7:20. So it's not a crime. They give the location, the name of the person with him, Alcantara Hortensia. Hortensia. And she
She
was born in
sounds exotic.
1990.
Ooh,
I
she
think
was
she's
born in the
Hispanic.
90s.
Mm-hmm.
He got
Native
beautiful.
Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, and she was a female. Mr. Kevin Samuel says on May 5th, 2022, Officer J. Figueroa, unit number 2205, responded to a call, and there's the apartment regarding a person injured. Upon arrival, Officer Figueroa Observed the fire department engine number 21 performing CPR on a black male unresponsive on the floor of his apartment. I then met Miss Hortensia, who identified the male as Mr. Kevin Samuels. Miss Alcantara stated that she met Mr. Samuels last night, came to his apartment, and spent the night with him. Miss Alcantara also said that early morning, Mr. Samuels complained of chest pains. She attempted to help him, but he fell on top of her and proceeded to notify 911. Miss Alcantara also said she requested the 911 operator to contact the front desk for a defibrillator to keep Mr. Samuels responsive until Grady arrived because she is a nurse. Grady bus number 741. Mr. Samuels was later transported to Piedmont Hospital by Grady bus number 741. So, he basically passed on like Celie stepdaddy.
Oh wow. Why did I get that vision in my head too?
Mm-hmm.
How did he die?
On top of me. So,
Yeah.
she was a nurse. People have found pictures of her. I'm not going to go so far as to grab those pictures. You can look them up. One is the incorrect picture. One is of a extremely overweight woman, or it could be a man. But the one that was actually there, she was a younger woman. Like I said, she was born in 90, so that puts her about 32. And very shapely, but she was not fit
and slim
at
like he like
200.
him. If
But
it sounded
again,
like I'm less than 150 pounds.
child, please. But again, the goalpost is always moved for Black women. Their preferences, they make exceptions for.
You know,
it is what it
a
is.
lot of men, they're it's a sliding scale,
Mm-hmm. Well, if she this, then she can do this. But if she's not that, then she can't do this.
Yeah, it's a sliding scale.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
wow.
But yeah, he slid and died on top of it like Secret Stepdaddy. So
anybody check on O'Shea Dukes to make sure he's okay?
Honey, they've been doing memorial videos all over YouTube, and I'm just
he did a 33-minute one chronicling how he met Kevin, because his pride is he feels that he helped create Kevin Samuels. Like he found him, helped him, gave him a platform, whatnot, whatever.
That's a shame. That's a shame. But it's not surprising though.
He was on the Joe Budden podcast, and when he had made it to Joe Budden podcast, I was like, oh, wow, he's going to start blowing up now. And I want to say that's one of Joe Budden's most watched podcasts is Kevin Samuels. And that whole beef he had with Sweetie, Sweetie, I think she has a show on the, I want to say the Joe Budden podcast network. I think she's one of them Love and Hip Hop people or whatnot, whatever. I don't watch the show.
Is that the one is she like a rapper or a singer or something? She's a performer?
I don't really get it. I don't follow the Love
I think
Hip Hop.
We sound like too old.
Yeah, we sound old. Like, yeah, I'm not in. I don't watch that Love and Hip Hop stuff. I don't though. I
don't either.
I tried to watch Love and Hip Hop. I tried to watch Basketball Wives, and I got a headache. I could not watch Basketball Wives.
I've never watched any of it. I've seen clips with Nene in it because I just love her energy. But I never watched
Real Housewives of Atlanta. I actually could watch that. But past like the first 2 seasons, it got a little wild. I couldn't watch after that. And some of my favorite characters kind of got taken off. I started watching when Cynthia Bailey came. I just thought she was gorgeous. And I had like a little crush on her. So I would watch when she came in her season. But
I got a friend that swears out I act like Candy. and I don't know what she means.
Those facial
Uh,
expressions of yours. You and
really?
Candy have those same, yeah. And when
Okay.
Nene comes on, I change the channel. I can't with Nene. I just don't like
Really?
Nene.
I like
No.
Mimi.
And you know what? I like the white lady. I thought she was hilarious. Kim
There was a
Zolak.
white lady up there, child. I didn't.
Yeah,
They let you.
Kim
I
Zolak.
didn't know white folks was on there.
Yeah, that was like I told you I watched the first maybe 2, 3 seasons. And Kim,
Okay.
I like Kim. I like Kim
Okay.
Whitfield, um, and then the white lady, and
Mm-hmm.
and um, and then the black Asian lady. I didn't really like the one that was married to Keith Sweat,
Okay, I've seen her
Lisa
picture.
Wu or something like that. I really wasn't
Mm-hmm.
feeling her like that. But
Okay.
overall, I thought the show. That's the only show like that I could watch.
Okay.
But the rest of them, that whole love and hip hop and these other reality shows, I just couldn't get into it. It just
Okay.
gave me a headache. The ratchetness was just.
Yeah, and see that was my thing. I'm not like I didn't really identify with it.
Hmm.
So yeah. But yeah, like I said, apparently I okay, now you pinpointed it. Facial expressions, yes. If Candy is known for her facial expressions, then yes, we certainly would have some similarities.
And one thing that I wonder about, there have been several channels where people, their whole thing, their whole shtick on YouTube is
Mhm.
commentary on Kevin Samuels videos.
I guess they gotta find
And
somebody else.
that is the craziest thing because first of all, they play videos of Kevin Samuels critiquing a woman, and they critique
His
Kevin
critique of the
Samuels
woman.
of, yeah, and I'm like, what? And people watch,
I don't
and
have
then
time.
now he's going. I saw, I know the originator of these type of videos, Tommy Sotomayor. He had to make a video, so he made a video about Kevin Samuel. He went live when Kevin Samuel died. And Kevin Samuels, no matter how much you may dislike him, he was watered down versus
Oh, I'm
Tommy
familiar
Sotomayor.
with Tommy. I'm
Tommy
very familiar with
Sotomayor,
Tommy.
he was the worst. He was the original, and he was 10 times worse than Kevin Samuel
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
ever was.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about somebody who hates black women with a passion
Mm-hmm.
and it just spills over. Tommy Sotomayor hates black women.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard somebody call black women
Hair
that
hat.
many bitchs.
Mm-hmm.
I sat there and counted one night how many times I was like, geez, this guy is going to have a stroke. He's going to have a heart attack. I don't know what happened to him. Who,
So, from my understanding, what happened was because there's a lot of beef between Tommy and Kevin.
right. And I
Tommy
think
swore
it's
out Kevin
jealousy.
took his is some jealousy there because just I mean to me they both trash. One is just trash and dumps the juice, and the other one is trash that's just like a regular box to be thrown away. Aesthetically, Tommy is dumps the juice. He's an
Right.
ugly, scrawny looking little dude. Don't look like he got much going for him. Kevin is the dressed up version. And while the things that Kevin said were horrible and disgusting,
He
they
made
were
it
not.
palatable.
He made it palatable. Um, Tommy, I honestly think he needs to be banned from YouTube,
And see,
in
that's
my
why
opinion.
if you're gonna ban anybody, it was easier I felt to get Tommy Sotomayor
Yeah,
banned because
yeah.
his videos were horrible. And I mean some of the things he said was
Mm-hmm.
just, and there was no good videos. There was no redeeming
No,
quality about anything he's ever made. He was a conservative Republican, and I want to say conservative Republicans love him. I want to say he was might even have been on uh your channel, uh what's the little conservative channel, not CNN. not CNN, the big
Oh, Fox.
Fox. I want to say he was on Fox or something. I know I might be wrong, but I know he was a conservative. He was considered a conservative commentator, a lover of freedom. He's one of the crazies, and conservative Republicans love him, and that's why I don't like them because they gravitate toward the worst. They always go toward the worst.
Lord, this fool was on Fox News.
Was on Fox. I thought I saw him on Fox, and I was like, they gravitate and will pull the worst among us and put us out there. The Candace Owens, the Tommy Sotomayor's, they will. Those are the ones they go for. Told you. Only thing you gotta do, if only thing I do to get the conservative support, Tommy loved guns. He loved to have that little flag in the background. Don't tread on me stickers. And then the Republicans and the right wing will love you. That was his. He was transitioning into that. So that was his shtick. Like he was leaving, uh, talk bashing black women. He was slowly transitioning and being like conservative, gun toting, all of that. So that's where he was going with that. Tommy Sotomayor. I told you he was the originator. He's the worst of the worst. And he was jealous of Kevin Samuels because what Kevin did was he took what Tommy did, and I want to say Kevin made it more of a philosophy. And like you said, he was clean cut, and he had better production value, and he repackaged Tommy Sotomayor's shtick and was very successful, way more successful than Tommy Sotomayor ever was. So I want to say who else was it? Sergeant Willie Pete or somebody. I want to say he
Mhm.
died or killed himself.
I think was
So
Obsidian in that same
I never watched
Obsidian.
Obsidian.
Okay.
I've heard of him, but I never watched him. So, but yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty of these guys out there. But like I said, for black people, the internet has been both blessing and a curse because
Mm-hmm.
it's wonderful that a lot of people can have a platform. People have some great shows, but it is also, oh Lord,
No, go ahead. I'm listening. I'm listening.
but it's also a curse in that we have the Tommy Sotomayors, the Kevin Samuels. Lord have mercy. Kevin Samuels trying to figure out who let women in their 30s with 4 kids into his funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, y'all are wrong.
I didn't make not a one. This is Black Twitter, honey. Black Twitter,
Black Twitter.
honey. You are a sick person if you are celebrating Kevin Samuel's death. Me. Now, see, this is something else. This is another topic. I want to segue into this
Okay.
whole uh respectability in death. I don't understand it.
How you can act a
Like,
fool in life, and then when it comes
yes,
to death,
and
people
and
like don't do that.
don't
Like,
don't talk ill of the dead. Now, again, I understand if you coming from a scriptural biblical viewpoint, there is a scripture, I believe it's somewhere in Proverbs, that talks about not gloating in the time of your enemy's death. I had no problem with that. I have personally, when I first heard it and it was confirmed, I did snicker a little bit after I found out the details that he in fact died alone after making his proclamation less than a week or two prior to him dying alone that black women would die alone if they did not adjust themselves. So I was laughing at the irony of the statement. Am I happy that he is dead? Doesn't make a difference to me. And I think a lot of people are in that spot. Him living or dying does not matter. Um, it was what he did. That's why I chose that song. May the work I've done speak for me.
Mhm.
I honestly see people's reaction as the work that he's done. And he has talked trash about black women dead and alive. So I don't understand why it's a big deal or why people are all in their feelings unless they just aren't aware. I'll give people that. They could not be aware that he talked so much trash about Eartha Kitt, Dorothy Dandridge. There was another famous black woman he talked trash about. When these quotes came out about how, when they decided to date out, black people would ask them, well, you got all of these black men in Hollywood, da 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 da, and the replies from them were like, look, these black men told me that I could do nothing for them because I'm black, because they wanted to advance, so they chose white women. But yet and still, Kevin goes through and bashes these women. In addition to that, he trashed, what's her, Lauren Smith Fields, the woman who dated, she met a white guy on Bumble, and she had already stated that she was divesting, she was going to start swirling X, Y, and Z. And she was found in a similar situation as Kevin, ironically, where it was found that there was some drugs in her system, and she died as a result of. He dogged that woman. So, it's this whole idea, like, we're friends on Facebook, and you probably saw that meme that I put up there yesterday with Whoopi Goldberg looking like somebody grandma judge, and that's what I was judging. Like, there was so many folks on our timeline that we went to school with talking about some, y'all have to be ashamed of yourselves. Or rest in peace to the Godfather. Da 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 da. And folks in the comments.
Right.
So you showing yourself. You agree with this man tearing black women down. And you could, my grandma always said, you can't sing nobody into heaven.
Well,
Long
yeah.
funerals, 3-4 hours, everybody shouting and doing all this other about it, everything else, and everybody in the neighborhood know he was trash.
Right. And people like, hey, don't be happy, don't gloat about his death and whatnot. But the fact
I'm
remains,
not gloating that
we're
he's
supposed
dead.
to, but basically we're supposed to sit over here like there's not 100 videos out there about his views, and that we're just
Literally, that he just said less than 2-3 days. He did a live the night before he died.
pretty much anytime the New York Times does your obituary, and it's not because you're known for being a nice guy. So
No, not at
who
all.
you I wonder who's going to take his place.
I hope none of them do, considering this recent FBI investigation into the manosphere and all those platforms with men going their own way. I hope and I pray that they are working with YouTube to not allow any content like that. So hopefully nobody takes his place.
I don't think that's kind of borderline censorship though, for them
Okay.
not to allow any of them.
However,
So I don't think
considering
they're going to
that
go that far.
these channels are leading to terrorist attacks. Do you remember what happened just a few weeks ago in New York, where this
Right.
avid supporter of KS of Kitten Hill Samuels went and shot up a bunch of people in subway in New York?
Yes.
You had that, then you had some guy going to a monastery shooting up folks. He cited Kevin. He cited O'Shea. And the only reason I know about Obsidian is because this guy, that person quoted him. There's a
I think
open
the
FBI investigation.
I think the next one is the lead attorney. He's
He
also
gets
down
on
in
my
Atlanta.
nerves too.
Yeah, he's smug.
I've seen a piece. I've seen a piece of one of his lives, and I clicked off that thing so quick.
Yeah, he's going to be the next Kevin Samuels, I think, lead attorney.
I need him to go litigate something. Is he an actual
Before he
attorney?
died, before he died, I want to say they met up for a dinner. They did a big dinner. It was the lead attorney,
Oh Lord.
Kevin Samuels. I want to say one of the guys from Fresh and Fit. I could be wrong. All of them did like this little cover picture thing together, and they were getting ready to pool their resources, and yeah, it was horrible. I don't believe in this style of YouTube videos, this philosophy. I'm a romantic. You know that.
Yes.
I believe in finding somebody, falling in love with them, and being with them for no other reason other than you love them.
You
This
such an
style of
idealist. Bless your heart.
yeah, I'm an idealist. This style of like evaluating women on their looks, their age, whether or not they have kids or whatnot. No, I think that's problematic, right? And teaching these young men this and high value men and teaching these women and these women agreeing with them. I think it's problematic. I don't think it helps us, the community, at all.
There is no community.
There is no community. Yeah,
I
we
told you
okay.
that.
What community? What little community we have? I think that's helping to destroy it. So, um, I don't like to judge people, but when I look at it, ultimately, is his message, did it help? I don't think so. In the end, no, I don't think his message helped. And like I said, it's like Rush Limbaugh. You know, nobody's happy about the man died of cancer. That's me to be happy about it.
Yeah.
But do we miss the message? No.
No.
And it's been a quieter place. I can
Mm-mm.
finally hear the news without, how you don't want to. I'm turning the channels, and every now and then I just stumble on to him or Sean Hannity, and I don't even want to hear that.
Mm-mm. Not at
Especially
all.
not Rush Limbaugh. He was
No.
openly racist.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, these I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, but bro said Kevin Samuels. Mm. I
I
couldn't
know where
believe
I'm gonna continue to mind my business.
it, right?
I'm not
I'm
thinking
just
about
hoping.
Kevin.
Yeah, I'm hoping we let it go and that we do something else. Maybe the lead attorney will go and start doing something else. Oh, and another thing about Kevin Samuel. How long before you think somebody's tried to drag something out about him being gay?
Oh, there's a whole sector of people who already think he's gay. Like one of the rumors, the picture of the other woman that was supposedly the woman that was with him, they're already
Hmm.
saying that was a man.
I
Yeah, I
knew
mean
that was coming.
it's been suspicion that he's been gay all along, and if he is, he is. That's fine. However, my issue is if he is or if he was homosexual, I think that part of the vitriol that he had for black women is that he was not one and he wanted to be one. And so, in somewhere in his depths of self acceptance for whatever he was, instead of facing that and accepting whatever it was,
Somebody said a what?
yeah, I'm trying to figure out was a what were they referring to? Yeah, I don't know that person. Um, yeah, so if you want to clarify, um, if you want to clarify that, you can go ahead and explain in the chat further. Not sure what you were referring to or what part of the conversation you were referring to. But yeah, you're welcome to clarify. Oh, hey girl, how you doing?
Oh,
I know Adrian.
okay.
Yep, that he was with a man supposedly. Yeah, supposedly one of the because there was two pictures that popped up whenever people were talking about that he was with someone, and the other picture could have been. I mean, it could have been a man, but
I never got
somebody
gay
else.
vibes. I never got gay
You
vibes from him.
what? Excuse what, sir? You never got gay vibes from Kevin.
I just thought he was I got hmm, like he was neatly dressed and he cared about his appearance and everything. Like he was just one of those guys.
No,
But I never thought it was gay. I don't know. I just didn't get. He's just a neatly dressed man. That's it.
no, I definitely got something. If not gay curious, whatever. But again, it didn't matter. As far as I'm concerned, it didn't matter whether or not he was gay. I just felt like part of his issue had more to do with um I don't know. You know how guys they'll go all the way back to high school where the black girls didn't pay me no mind in high school, where they treated me in such a way that um and they always wanted the thugs, but now it's X, Y, and Z. That after they done been ran through, yada yada yada. I kind of put him in that category. Only instead of black girls not wanting him, I think it was more so him being accused of being homosexual before he was ready to come out himself,
Oh, that,
and him
okay.
having to deal with all of that.
Now back to Tommy. Now I think that's what happened to Tommy Sotomayor. Like
Oh,
he
really?
didn't get it. He didn't get it. No, not being called gay. He didn't get any attention from women, especially in
Oh,
school,
absolutely.
because he always harps about that. If you listen to some of his videos, he was like,
Hmm.
"They always call me black. They always call me crispy," and that's his thing. He's always talking about how they called him black and crispy.
Child, they used to call me black, crispy, pickaninny, Oreo, all kinds of foolishness, but I still only dated who I dated and been married for a very long time.
But
And them
that's his
same
thing,
folks that used to run their mouth, they can still
black
kiss my entire butt.
and crispy. He always talks about that, how he was called crispy, and he harps about it. So I think that played a
You
role in
need to
his
go to
hatred.
therapy.
Yeah, he needs therapy.
You need to go to therapy for
It's like
real.
that football player. He was a dark skinned guy, had a blonde wife, and he was on Twitter or Instagram taking those pictures with him and the white girl were toasting to like light skinned babies. That was a cap. Yeah, I was like, yeah, he needs therapy. You don't remember that? They were making a toast to like light skinned babies on
Oh
Instagram.
my gosh.
And I want to say he was dark skinned.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I found them.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times that's the thing. I think a lot of them, that's it. They haven't resolved those issues with being dark skinned man. Yeah, that guy.
That don't make no doggone sense.
And see, that's another thing I don't understand about athletes. And especially, I've heard that black girls didn't want me in high school, so white. Oh,
Thank you.
oh yeah, that's true.
Yes, absolutely, Adrian. Absolutely. I
Yeah,
agree.
yep. So, yeah, I don't get that about black athletes because a lot of them. One thing about it, if you, I would look in the mirror and ask myself, if
Hmm.
I were not playing or had the potential to go to the NFL or playing pro ball or pro golf, would this woman be interested in me? Would this white woman, this Hispanic woman, would she be interested in me? Because if you look at them, you know good and well that woman wouldn't be interested in you if you weren't going to the league.
Mm-mm.
Yet they do it anyway. And with
They
all of this cautionary tales that we got out there, I mean, we have an abundance of cautionary tales that we can look at. Like so
mhm.
many cases, we can name so many, yet they do it anyway. I was watching the NFL draft, and if you watch the NFL draft where they show them at home, oh my goodness, it's like black mama, white girlfriend,
Mhm.
and big husky black guy who's playing linebacker or something. And you're
Oh
like,
goodness.
wow,
What is that baby? Sierra's husband.
Russell
What's his
Wilson.
name? Yes.
Russell Wilson.
Did he have a white girlfriend?
I want to say he started out that way, but
And
he's
because I saw a
isn't he
meme.
mixed? He's mixed, right?
I don't know what he is. I don't know.
He's blackish, black adjacent.
I'm so done with you. What did we say last week? These people are
Uh,
biracial. Will you let them fully embrace both all of their you black
they're
adjacent? I done
black.
told you.
We're gonna say they're black.
You better be glad you 3,000 miles away. I will throw my shoe at you. Don't just stare at me like
Y'all
that.
gonna make me pull out the computer and get to home.
You wait till I get home.
But
Yes. Yes. So this was a meme. This picture was the basis of a meme that I saw floating around not too long ago, which I thought was hilarious. Hold on, wait.
black
Yeah, this
light
one.
diet black.
Adrian is stupid. But yes, let me share this because it was somebody had posted something like, this is his girlfriend, right? And this is the night he got drafted. You see how excited she was. And so folks was joking her, talking about some now. Every time she sees Sierra, this has got to haunt her or something along those lines. Yeah, she
Oh
thought
man,
she was in there.
I was hoping
And
Charlotte picked him up, could get him, but they couldn't
mm,
replace Cam Newton.
gotcha.
But I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Pro athletes, you got to ask yourself, would this person be with me if I wasn't worth all that money?
But see, this is the thing. Socially, they feel like they're gaining something because they're getting with a non-white woman, so they are willing to use that as an exchange. Her white skin for in exchange for the money that they would not even dare think about offering to the black woman who was there with them from the beginning, or just to any black woman. She doesn't have to necessarily be there from the beginning. But yeah, that's the route they go.
Yeah. Tiger Woods married his co golfer's nanny.
Mm-hmm.
She was the nanny.
Mm-hmm. Oh goodness, who was that boy? Oh gosh, he had a black woman at first. He is it Jesse Smollett? No, Jesse Smollett is the one that lied. What was that boy's name? I can't remember his name, but he married a black lady, had children with this. Well, no, he was with the black lady. They had a couple of kids. When he made it famous, he was on Grey's Anatomy. He was like the
Oh,
then once
oh
and he was
man.
making that Grey's Anatomy money, he left her, and his child support was like
Woo,
40,000 a month. But I
woo.
mean, you gotta no. That's what they were. That's what they were. That's what they were accustomed to living on. So that's not a big deal. So after the whole Grey's Anatomy thing, he had an opportunity to get a gig where he was making even more money. He turned it down to go work on Broadway so he could reduce the child support that his black
Mm.
children and baby mama would get per month. Tell me that ain't spiteful. It's
Yeah.
Jesse.
Mm. Yeah, that is spiteful.
That is trifling as hell. But that's what they do.
Oh yeah.
Now,
That's
somebody I
sad.
got to give props to. Shaquille O'Neal admitted that he was wrong with everything he did in his marriage to when he was married to his wife.
Ah, Shanti O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because
one
it
thing
was
about
some
Shaq, he never had a white woman. He after
no,
Shanti, he had Hoops. Hoops.
no.
I was in love
Okay.
with some Hoops. I was in love with
Wasn't
Hoops.
she on what was that fool's name? What was that
Flavor
show
of
she was
Love.
on? Yes.
But that's my one guilty pleasure. I loved that show. Oh my gosh, that show. I put it like this: Flavor Flav. I could say so much about him. He was on so many different levels. That dude was um I put it like this: not a good look for the black community whatsoever. But he was lovable though. He was one of those lovable coons, I guess.
I
And
don't. I wouldn't go so far as to call him a coon, though.
not in his public enemy days, but later when he got with Brigitte Nielsen, remember he got with Brigitte on the Surreal Life. So, 'cause the way it was a spinoff show from the Surreal Life, which was also an amazing show. I love that show too. 'Cause remember they put
Mm-hmm.
all these has-been celebrities in one house, like Sherman Hemsley and just a whole bunch of stars that would never live together. Adrian Curry from was America's Top Model, one
Yeah.
of the Brady Bunch guys. And in fact, Adrian Carey and one of the Brady Bunch guys got married. They got a spinoff show. Flavor and Brigitte did their little thing, and then he got his spinoff show, Flavor of Love or whatnot, with New York. And remember New York Spit?
I remember New York.
Oh, no, yeah.
Who was that that pooped on the stairs?
I remember that. But like I
Somebody
said,
pooped on the stairs. That was
that
hilarious.
show was outrageous. So when
Mm-hmm.
Hoops was on, I knew from the very beginning. I said Hoops is going to win it all
Mm-hmm.
because I always thought she was fine as all outdoors, but I think that her attitude is
Mm-hmm.
eventually why Shaq broke up with her because I read this article, that her attitude was really bad, and
Okay.
she wanted to train to become like an Olympic gymnast at her
Mm-hmm.
age, and she went down to Florida to try to like go to this place that trained gymnasts, and they
Mm-hmm.
refused her, saying, "We're sorry, but you're past the age." And she went off on them, and I think Shaq was there,
Oh, that
and
was
Shaq was like,
embarrassing.
yeah, he was really embarrassed. And they said later after that incident, he kind of sort of backed away from the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But they were together a long time, and she's so short and he's so tall. I mean, she is like tiny.
Well, don't be hating on the tiny girls.
No, I'm not hating him, but I'm talking about Shaq. Shaq is 7'1", right?
I know. I'm just
I'm
teasing.
only six even, so a tiny girl don't look that out of place with me.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're 7'1" and you got a short girl like that, that's looks kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the Flavor of Love was my show.
Yeah, I did used to watch. I can admit, yeah, I did used to watch some Flavor Love. That boy
With
was stupid.
Delicious, what was her name? Delicious and New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pumpkin? Was it Pumpkin? Didn't Pumpkin spit on New York or something like that?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah, she said, "Listen, celebrity reality was lit on Sunday nights back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was, cause
Mm-hmm.
I love the surreal life. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do my version of surreal life. I wanted to have my house, and I wanted to be able to pick the people. Cause I would have been like Charlie Sheen, Gary Busey, Mike Tyson, Gary Coleman. My house would have been so crazy. By the time the season was over, it would have literally burnt the whole house down. There
Oh
would
my
be smoke,
gosh.
and there would be the fire department out there. Can you imagine Gary Busey, Charlie Sheen, and Mike Tyson? Just them three alone.
Might would have whooped all their tails.
Yeah, it would have been off the hook.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So circling back to Mr. Samuels, uh, I know you touched on it with the where do we go from here, and I, I'm good with a period. I'm good with a period. I'm good with this being the end of the paper or the essay. Give a little works cited page and move on.
It's not going to go away. This is going
I
to get
that
worse.
mm-mm,
But the fact that Kevin Samuel and Tommy Sotomayor, they're still around, says that Google is not going to deplatform these people. And if you look at it, Tasha K, after she
mm-hmm,
got after she lost in court,
mm-hmm,
you would think that Google would have deplatformed her.
mm-hmm,
They did not, even though they proved in court that everything she said was false. And this is not her. She's not a stranger. She's in trouble too because she's going to have to go give testimony about leaking that information about R. Kelly.
mm-hmm.
Like one of the security guards at the prison where R. Kelly is in prison at leaked information to her.
Sorry, my cat was.
So yeah, she hasn't learned, right? And they
Oh
haven't
wow.
deplatformed her. So yeah, I don't see them deplatforming anybody because it comes down to uh,
I'm with you. I'm with you. Just print it out, turn it in, and move on. Like
yeah.
I've and they may not, just with a lot of things. I have removed myself from certain spaces throughout my lifetime, and yeah, to me, this is just going to be an entire space where I intend to just remove myself. Because I mean, I like you said, I have, you got friends that are devout listeners, and they they loved him. And I have a relative that I was once close to who apparently love Kevin. Even now. He called my mom the other day. And a couple of times he tried to, excuse me, to discuss some kitten heelisms with me. And I basically told him, I respected you prior to this. I thought you were something that you obviously are not, because if you support this person, you're not who I thought you were. And do you know we have hardly spoken since?
I can believe it. And the scary thing is his reach. He could
Mhm.
reach the youth.
And the older, like this person is in
Oh,
their
you know,
60s.
yeah, you know the old heads love that. That's how the old heads grew up with this philosophy, and a lot worse.
So no, I have no intention. This honestly will probably more than likely, unless there's a case that's directly like a missing black woman or a black woman getting illisms, unless there's a femicide related something that where the person who committed the crime is a devout Kitten Hill follower, or is like old dude in the subway, or I absolutely have no intention of revisiting him.
And I'm to the point I can't watch those videos no more. I would listen to some of them because they come up in the feed, but it got to the point. It's one of them things. If you watch it, you feel like you gotta go. I don't know, just go read a book or
Yeah,
listen
I
to
feel
some
like you
wholesome.
lost some
You
brain
have to
cells.
cleanse. Yeah, you gotta cleanse when you watch those videos because they're.
Burn some sage.
Yeah, I'm like, man, this is not where we should not go. This is not where we're going. We don't need this.
You
This
need to
is not
burn
what
some
we need out
sage,
here in these trying times.
cleanse the space, get some incense going.
Right. And
So
this is
yeah.
not community building. People are sitting there justifying time. The only thing he wanted to do was help build a black community. Right. That's his main goal. That was his, this is what he wanted to do, and da 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 da. And I'm like, no, he did not. I mean, you know how you got race profiteers? He was a woman bashing profiteer. He saw that this is why it drove engagement, and he ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
But and you know what? There's some great female uh vloggers out there who are on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
There is no black community, Lord have mercy.
I keep
But
telling you.
do you know any black male vlogger that's positive on YouTube that kind of sort
Mm-hmm.
of bridges the gap between men and women who has a positive? I can't think of any.
Mm-mm. No. The
You like Roland
closer.
Roland Martin,
No, I don't
maybe?
like him.
You don't like
No.
Roland Martin. And what's his name? Uh he used to be a Kevin Samuelite, and then he kind of softened up. And when he married a woman with children, what was his name? Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Yeah, Watkins.
He got in
No.
trouble. Yeah, he got in trouble with the manosphere because he went and married somebody with kids or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't
They was
like
just jealous.
you don't like Boyce Watkins either?
I have other reasons
Okay.
that I won't get into.
I like
They're actually
his money philosophy and stuff
yes.
like that. I like that part. But
Mm-hmm.
he was going in that Kevin Samuel direction, but then he switched it up, and that got him in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't like Roland Martin? Roland Martin's kind of, you know, I like his politics. I mean, we don't have too many left. I remember we done lost Tavis Smiley. Tavis is going. Don Lemon, but he's mainstream.
Mm-mm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
don't have any black vloggers.
No. If there are any, they have one follower and it's their mama. A lot of black men have no interest in positivity between black men and black women because they are too busy trying to get back at us.
Trying to
I
get back
agree.
at them.
It's something that I hear a lot. And again, I don't remember this version of what was on TV back then, but apparently around the time The Color Purple came out, you had shows like Donahue and Sally Jesse Raphael, Oprah, and I'm sure there were others, but apparently, according to a lot of black men, especially the older ones, there was a lot of black male bashing on those shows. I don't remember because I was a child outside playing. I didn't watch those things. So now some of them are saying that they feel like this is a justification of sorts. Um, and so they're coming back critical against black women. And I like I say is I didn't do it. I don't recall such I don't recall that happening. And I mean, we're 70s babies. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not to say that it didn't happen, but I mean, I don't understand why. I don't understand why that would be an issue, especially during that time. They had the biggest mammy of them all, Scheherazade Ali.
That's who I was getting ready to bring up because I was getting ready after you finished talking.
Like,
I was gonna like Kevin Samuels routinely references Sister Shaz. That's who he pulls a lot of his philosophy from. Is her.
and she was on a lot of those shows back then too. So I don't
I
quite
remember.
understand that part. Um, But I mean, this is a woman who said that collectively black women needed to like the the answer to domestic violence within the black community wasn't to have the men stop hitting the women. It was instead of it was having them move from stomping the woman into the ground and punching her to just getting a light pop in the face. Excuse me, ma'am. And then he turns around and has this show where he talks about his whole domestic discipline. Where if the code word for, oh, you acting out of pocket is banana split. And if he says banana split and you don't act accordingly, then it's okay to adjust her wig. Excuse me?
I told you. I remember that when growing up, kids like some of the relatives called it a wig check to see how tight
Yeah.
your wig was on. So when they
And I'm
popped me,
just like, sir, what? And so that's what
I re-
I'm saying. Let
I
the work
remember when
he's
she was
done
on
speak for
Donahue.
him.
I remember when she was on Donahue. One thing about that's the one thing I like about Donahue show. He really had a diverse cast of people. He had the Honorable Louis Farrakhan
Mm-hmm.
back when nobody was putting Louis Farrakhan on the show and actually let him
Mm-hmm.
talk. He gave that famous check about America. Like America don't talk about, you know, these other countries when you're one of the biggest purveyors of violence in the world. And he let that play
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
during Reagan. This is prime Reaganomic time too. When Reagan was in office, he let that play. So hats off to Donahue. I actually like Donahue.
Mm-hmm.
So and
Yeah.
but yeah,
I don't
I
have a
remember
problem
when
with
she
any of
was
that I've
on,
seen.
and I remember her little philosophy. But Kevin Samuels refers to this woman religiously.
Because she the biggest mammy there is. Got it all in writing and everything. Got 3, 4, 5 books. She is the biggest
Pseudo
mammy.
pseudo hotel, little hotepian.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
looking like Queen Latifah grandma.
Don't do that to the queen. Don't put that
Okay.
on her. Don't do that. Mm-mm. She looking like a mammy. She like a hotel mammy. She is the hotel mammy.
Hotel mammy.
Mm-hmm. Mammy hotel.
Oh, they love her too.
Yeah, they can have. They can have them, and she can. They can have her, and she can have them.
Kevin Samuels' family needs to find his money for burial found under 1,000K. Was he broken in debt? A whole bunch of those videos. I
Really,
refuse to believe the man was broke. I don't believe that.
I think they just don't know how to get to his funds. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. How about
Mm-hmm.
she was on Montel Williams' show too? She was on Geraldo. She was making the rounds.
Mm-hmm. Now, see the part that gets me, and I heard this on somebody's podcast. I forget who it is. Otherwise, I would, I would give them proper credit. But she made the point, as she was saying that as she was going on these TV shows and, giving all of these speeches, that something black women didn't realize was that a lot of her book, because they hadn't actually read it, a lot of her book was criticizing black men. And that she had to hire a security guard from the black men who would try to attack her as she was going out and into public and doing these kind of speaking events. And so I find that interesting that the group of men that you out here mammying for
Are trying to attack you.
are trying to attack you, and you got to hire a whole security situation. Shouldn't that let you know that it's something wrong with them?
Is she Muslim? Does she claim to be Muslim, or she's like
Nation of Islam.
Nation of Islam? Mm.
I agree with you, girl.
Geraldo, 1990. Man, when I
Mm-hmm.
look at these videos of the 90s, they look so long ago. The videos for the 90s look like the videos for the 80s now.
I know, right? All that
All
grainy kind of
grainy,
stuff.
VCR-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got to get up and start playing with the tracking on the VCR tape. Oh,
It's
I
so
just dated
silly.
myself. For real.
Mm-hmm.
Montel Jordan. I wonder what he's doing. Oh, he was sick, right? He had a degenerative disease.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They got one Ayana Van Zant against Sister Shazara Ali. I wonder what
Mm-hmm. And that
style.
probably been one of the few times that I 100% agree with Ayana. I don't have
Yeah.
anything against her. She just I don't know. Something about her just come off a little off to me.
Fix My Life. A
Yeah,
little
no.
serious on that. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Has
But yeah.
Paris Milan, has she made a video?
Oh, absolutely.
She did on Kevin Samuels. I bet it's good
Absolutely.
too. I love her. She will go in. I
Mm-hmm.
love her videos.
Let me see. I'm pretty sure she has already done one because um there's been a lot. There's been a lot on in BWE spaces about his passing. One in particular that I found to be interesting. Um, is it Nova Blue Nova Tarot, or I might be saying her name wrong, and if I am, I apologize. But she did two readings, and this one, the first one was months ago. And she said something was going to happen, and the cards that she pulled pointed to the death of someone who was coming against Black women spiritually, and it pointed to a heart, some kind of heart condition, possibly a heart attack, a shot through the heart, or something. And and then in a recent live that she did where she was pulling her cards, and again, I don't do all of that, but the whole tarot thing. But again, she pulled the same card, and it said the same thing, something within their leadership or whatever, something was going to happen to one of their hearts. And yeah, so there's some that are just like, whoa,
You know
pump the
he
brakes.
has like stage 3, stage 4 lymphoma too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he was probably prone to have heart problems
Yeah.
after treatment for lymphoma.
Mm-hmm. So and again, it's yeah, she actually did a very recent, she did a video today. Kevin Samuel father Samuel I cannot talk right now. Kevin Samuel's father's husband impregnates a 13-year-old girl. And she, in her video, she goes down the rabbit hole of how this woman who had a child before getting married a man, and her daughter was telling her that this man was um, making advances towards her and being very inappropriate, and she wouldn't listen. And in time, he got her pregnant, and the girl ended up having to advocate for herself. And this woman, to this day, she went to the woman's Facebook page, tweets from just a few days ago, because she was when Samuels passed, she made a comment on Twitter. And
Mm-hmm.
because the account was kind of new, people on Twitter just assumed um, that it was a troll because it was a new account. But she's an older woman, kind of like me. Like I got a Twitter, Mahogany at Mahogany Afro if y'all want to find me. Um, but I don't have that many followers because Twitter is just not my thing. So they were thinking she was a troll. And come to find out, she wasn't a troll. Like she was explaining herself, and this is another reason why you know she's not on Twitter that much because she was giving a whole lot of her background history, and she was talking about how her daughter had falsely accused her husband of him, molesting her and all of this other kind of stuff, and she was giving like her real life info, and people looked her up and found the articles. This woman's child this woman's grandchild is the biological
Mm-hmm.
child of her husband, who is now in jail because he impregnated this girl when she was 13, 14 years old. And she was up there advocating for him all over her Facebook. They found this woman's Facebook page. Paris got all kinds of tweets where she's responding and, giving all her business out there. She just did that video 5 hours ago. So that's what I mean. Like, that's the awesome, awesome sauce. This cat. That's what I mean. Like, I don't intend on bringing up Kitten Hills even anymore unless
Mm-hmm.
it's situations like this where you've got people who listen to this fool and are following through with his advice, and it's affecting people in real time because that's just ignorant. And she up there, the mama up there on Facebook talking about, she's into the church and all of this other kind of foolishness, and up there giving advice on Facebook Lives to people.
You
Like,
think
to me, they just
you
don't
think they're
make
gonna
sense.
Facebook? You think they're gonna Facebook Live his funeral?
I don't know, and I don't plan to watch. I'm not giving that Negro no more clout. Mm-mm. He is gone. Let the dead bury the dead.
Oh
But I'm
wow,
pretty sure within the manosphere circles, it'll be like, oh, what was that? Aretha Franklin video. They'll probably change him. They'll probably change his outfit 10, 12 times.
Lord hammers, had that man posed up in the coffin, posed up with a Red
Like that
Bull,
meme we saw, looking around to try to figure out how many
with a Red Bull in them.
just so stupid. He gets on my nerves.
Kittens and I
Hmm.
still can't believe. I could not believe it. I like no,
No, I believe it.
not Kevin.
The only person I feel bad for is his mother, and that's just because I'm a mother, Um, that's all. And his children, because the other thing is too, he's got daughters. I don't know if he has one or two. I know he's got one or two children, and I don't know if any of them are daughters. But just imagine if your father had a whole bunch of disparaging videos about black men, and you found out about him after he died,
Right.
and then come to find out he died like Celia's stepdaddy. I mean, it's just really sad.
The funeral should be coming up because we black folk don't keep people out long.
Who don't? Child, absolutely, especially if they ain't got no life insurance. That how I'm supposed to sit right there in that funeral home and tell the refrigerator to give out. And in some situations, they'll drop the body off at the house. Be like, here, you work with it.
Oh
That's not
wow.
illegal. I thought it was illegal, honestly, but it's not.
They used to, if you don't have no money, they would take you, and after everybody left, they take you out that
Mhm.
coffin.
Stop
Right. I'm like, what you gonna do with the coffin? I didn't
it.
even think
Yeah,
you could
what you?
reuse the coffin. You can't reuse the coffin, can you?
No, I'm pretty sure they can. I'm sure for display and whatnot. Because to think about it,
Oh, okay.
if somebody's being cremated,
Mm-hmm.
girl, she talking about black people keep real good, but you hush. I cannot with you.
All them preservatives we eat.
And
Yeah,
it takes a while for our skin to, get that look. Yeah, white
yeah.
folks,
White
they get
people will
dark.
get them in
They
the
start
ground
turning
quick.
dark. Yeah,
They get them in the
they
ground
stop looking
quick.
like themselves. But no, I mean, I've known up to 2 weeks, honestly. But that's usually when you
That
got somebody who
like
lives up
family
north
trying to
and
make
then
it
they
in.
pass.
Yeah.
That, and if they stay up north, but they have, because that's common in my family. We have a family cemetery. So, our folks that stay up north, they'll have a service a lot of times up north because that's where they live, but they already have a place to go back home. And so they'll end up having two services.
Okay.
They'll have a service up there and then fly them down home. And then we'll have a service at the home church and take them to the cemetery.
I don't know what I'm gonna get them to do to me. I don't want a vault. I never understood the point of a vault.
I do. It depends on the water table because if you
Right,
don't
but
have a vault, the way it was explained to me is something about the vault and the water table and when flooding happens.
oh, okay, because I'm like, eventually, you're gonna rot anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna ride anyway. That's true.
But in our community graveyard down here, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the when they built I-40 and they built
Mm-hmm.
new drainage, it washed a quarter of the graveyard away. Like all the graves of the late 1800s to early 1900s got washed away when they built I-40. So somewhere in on I-40 between Burgo and Wilmington are the remains of black folk. Those graves got washed away, and that's in the early '90s. Like, cause my
Well,
dad had to
that
go.
spot. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my dad, in order to stop the erosion, would haul
Mm-hmm.
dirt and fill in the dirt
Oh my
to
gosh.
keep it from eroding. But all those turn of the century graves, a lot of them got
Mm-hmm.
washed away. We don't even know how many because they were so old. Because that was an old black community cemetery, and I don't think anything was ever done about that.
Well, there's a lot of slave graves in these fields. Have you ever noticed that in some fields it'll be just like a little island where nothing gets planted there? You might have some pine trees or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but it just seems like it's just in a weird place. A lot of times,
Yeah.
if you go down deep enough, you can find the headstones, and that's just what that is. I mean, in Greenville, that mall in Greenville, over there by ECU,
Mm-hmm.
are you familiar with that mall?
Not really. I was
Okay,
just
so
waiting to hear the rest of the story.
in that mall parking lot, and I used to wonder what this little retaining wall was for because it's in an odd place. And it's actually not too far. It's as you're driving into, if you're coming in off, I believe, Arlington Boulevard to drive into that mall. If you drive across the front and you go, Adrian is stupid. She talking about we and a sliding board. She's so dumb. So there's like this little retaining wall, and if you're walking by there's graves there, and those are old slave graves. So that area right there, it used to be, I'm assuming a plantation or just someplace, or maybe an old black church where blacks were buried, and those were some of the ones that could be identified at the time. And so when the land was purchased by whoever owns that mall, they built around it, and they have a little area right there. So a little small graveyard.
I don't know if I want to go to that ball.
See, I mean, it is what it is. But it's all kinds of little pockets like that. I mean, it's North Carolina. Look, we balance.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm gonna have them
But
do
yeah,
with me.
see, I'm kind of caught in between two, right? So I used to like the idea of what Ruby D and her husband did. They were cremated, and they were both put into the same urn, and the urn said, "We're in this thing together." I thought that was cute. However, after looking into the whole cremation process and seeing that a lot of times you're not what the remains you're receiving are not the remains of the person. It's a lot of times mixed, and because sometimes they'll put one and two or maybe even three bodies in the crematorium at one time, and they'll just
That's
hash it out.
wrong to give somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about old school, like do it old school, like take me in the field with a and put me on top of a lot of kindling
Well,
and
don't nobody
light
want to
it
smell you burn up for 5 6 hours.
up.
You gonna just pollute the air in the whole neighborhood just because you want to be burnt up.
Like he smell like McDonald's, Captain D's,
Ain't nobody trying to
Popeye's
smell you,
chicken,
Dion.
Popeye's chicken,
You so
all kinds
stupid.
of fast food,
Nah,
cholesterol.
I keep going back and forth. Um, I know where I have two. Both sides of my family have cemeteries. I could go either one. I have a preference for one, but and the other one I go down there. I mean, it don't really matter. But so I have a few concerns, but I know if my sister is still around, she's gonna handle those concerns. But then again, by the time I pass on, preferably I'll get to 100 and some change. So this
Right?
will be way down the road. But one is
I'm
my
thinking
hair.
89, 90.
No, I'm honey. I want a good. I want a cool 100 and some change.
Really?
Yes,
I would
absolutely.
take that if I could still walk, talk, and I knew I was aware, had all my
Mm-hmm.
mental facilities. Yeah, I would do that then. But I don't want to be like a lot of centenarians I know where they're bed bound, and you're wondering, do they even know they're there?
Well, I mean that's true too. Um, yeah, I want some hundreds. I need some three digits.
You want to be 100
That's my
years
goal,
old.
at least. I want to be 100 and some change. I take 102, 104, sprinkle it however. I take 101. I take
If
100
it's a good 100,
364 days.
if I'm in good health, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. But see, I don't even, I'm just like, if I'm here, then I'm healthy enough to be alive.
Hmm.
So I'm good.
Well, actually, I believe that in about 15 years,
Adrian, girl, got 100 to get to 100 potion. All the oils and the herbs.
but
Yes,
I do
honey.
believe, let me tell you, metformin kept a lot of black people here.
Yeah.
Metformin. And I believe in the future, the same way they did this COVID vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
I read that they're in trials. They're using the same method for HIV and
Mm-hmm.
cancer. And I think
Mm-hmm.
in about 10 to 15 years, that COVID vaccine, mRNA,
Yeah,
they're going to be able to do the same thing with cancer. So we'll have a non-toxic, non-chemotherapy therapy that they can, like, if certain cancers run in your family,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna give you this
Adrian's stupid.
vaccine. They're gonna be able to vaccinate you from cancer. And I think once that happens, because most of the time it's either a heart attack or cancer, and if they can pretty much reduce the chances of getting cancer by just 50%, I think
Mm-hmm.
people are gonna live. You're gonna see a lot of centenarians because people are living long now. Like my dad, them,
Mm-hmm.
all of them outlived their parents.
Good.
So, and they pushing 80. So at 80
Mm-hmm.
plus. So if we end up outliving our parents, that would put us in the centenarian.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't mind it. I mean, I want to see
I
Jesus
can.
one day, but I can take 100 years.
This fool said, I'm done. Yeah,
Hey,
but I
look,
can't say what.
I'm 46 years old and I ain't been married yet. If I can make it to 100, the chances I might find somebody. I might find somebody.
You just might be on. You sure right. You just might.
You give me 100 years. Hopefully, I'm not too old to do anything. But
Just don't be giving out no worms to these young girls
hey, Kevin Samuels doing bedroom gymnastics at what 57?
and see where it got him. He got he got he got silly stepdaddy treatment.
mm,
I
mm.
think I might change the name to silly stepdaddy. Gone at 57.
I wouldn't have. I would have done my best to leave my name out of that report. I'd have hated to been the lady that was with him. We out there being leftovers at 100.
I cannot.
I know, right? I
Mm-mm,
already
don't
feel
do
like
it.
leftovers.
Oh no.
Hey.
Mm-mm.
Oh, did
Nope.
I
Nope.
tell
Nope.
you I met this beautiful lady, right? On Facebook dating in
Okay.
DC, because you know how they always put me in DC. Chat is
Mm-hmm.
going good. And then
Mm-hmm.
she is 44 years old. She's like,
Okay.
"Do you have children?" And I'm like, "Oh Lord, why?" I knew it was gonna end right there. I said no.
Why?
I said no, I don't have any children. She said, "Do you want children?" And I'm not gonna lie, right? I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I'm gonna be truthfully honest. I said I'm still on the fence about having children. I kind of sort of do want one, and I'm scared I may regret it if I don't have one. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
heard from her since. She ghosted me.
How many? How many children does she have?
None. She has no children. She's 44.
Oh, that is a lot though.
I said one.
44.
Right. I mean, I kind of knew. I knew it was gonna like when. Usually, chances are when I try to date somebody around my age, and the topic of children comes up, if you cannot say definitively that you do not want children, then you probably gonna
Then
get ghosted because they're gonna be like, "Nah, at 40 something, I'm not having no more children," and that's happened more than once. So that's
wow.
why I knew when it came up, I was like, "Oh Lord, I'm about to
I
get
say
ghosted."
this because again, I mean, I've been out the game. I've been out the game for a while, long time. But yeah, you would have to be in a position where you would have to take care of everybody. Because I'm gonna be at the house. I'm gonna need about 5 years to recuperate from having a
Right,
child in my
and
40s.
yeah, I get that. I kind of sort of got
And
that,
that's a
but
lot.
I come to the conclusion that I have to make a decision on whether or not I'm still on the fence, and I'm thinking if you're on the fence, maybe you shouldn't have them. I just don't want to get to the older years and regret not ever having one.
Hmm.
But on the
Well, I mean,
same
I'm all
time,
for the babies.
at the same time though, uh, that 40 to 45
Hmm.
demographic probably gonna get ghosted, and a lot of
Hmm.
times you're probably gonna get ghosted from the 38 from the 38-year-olds probably gonna ghost you. So you're looking at you're gonna have to go all the way down to the 28 to 35.
The like Kevin did 1990.
1990, yeah. Basically, you're gonna have to go to the 28 to 35s. And I refuse to go lower than 28. I just can't
Yes.
do it. I can't do
Because
that.
you are a good, decent human being who wants the person that you end up with to have a mind of her own and some life
Right.
experience. Again,
And at least be
why
almost
I
the same
respect you.
generation. I don't get
Somewhat.
it.
I'm
Yeah,
so
somewhat.
well, my sister is in that generation, but then again, it's 16 years between me and her, so I kind of
Yeah,
get
I
it.
refuse to go before low 28 though. That's that's a little too young. Because
Yeah, my
at
sister
that
is
point,
27.
at that point, you might be with one. You might meet one of your friend's children.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
why it's like that's the line you cannot cross
Mm-hmm.
because you do not want to meet somebody's
Mm-hmm.
children. So,
Absolutely.
so, but yeah, I knew I was
Mm-hmm.
getting ghosted. I was like, oh man, I probably need to make
Okay.
up my mind. The only problem is I do want to be married if I do have one,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not time sharing a child. I do the whole timeshare thing,
I
picking
never
my
heard that.
weekend,
That is
picking my.
hilarious.
I was at Walmart, and it's the saddest thing. So I'm at Walmart, and every now and again when you go to Walmart at Target, and you're in the parking lot, and you see the exchange. You never see the
I've
exchange.
never seen
I've
the
been parked,
exchange.
and you see the two cars where they're getting the baby seat out of one. They're putting like the daddy's getting the baby seat out because it's probably his weekend and putting it in his car, or the daddy's dropping the kid off, and one kid was crying. I hate when I'm at there and I see the drop off. I was like, I don't want to do that. I never want to. I've seen that so many times when you're sitting in the parking lot and you see the drop off, and I was like, I do not want to be the Walmart Target parking lot drop off person. I do not want to do that.
The closest I've seen is usually with school. So, one parent will have them during the week, and then on Thursday, because we're 4 day a week school, the other parent is the one that picks them up, and then they stay with that parent for the following week, and then they switch it that way. But I've never see I never noticed, and I'm not to say that it didn't happen, but
Come on, bro.
oh wow, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Adrian, we gotta find somebody for my boy. He's a sweet person.
Now you
She
sound like
gonna hook you
Cynthia
up
G.
now.
You got me on the
I'm just
video like
saying.
Cynthia G. What you looking for?
I'm just saying. We gotta find you somebody. Now Adrian married herself, but however, she got a crew of folks that's not 28. They in their mid 30s.
Oh well, as long as I mean
Mm-hmm. And they cute too.
Cynthia G. You
Yeah,
watch her videos?
I do. I like Sin's videos. She makes a whole lot of sense. And actually, she was the one that pointed out some things to me that I was supporting, and I hadn't seen it prior to her explaining things. And I like how she explains things. She comes with all kinds of data and facts. Send me your
Uh,
criteria. I'll let you know. Girl, I'll get you all the deets. I just need to be filled in. I just need to be filled in on some. I know the early details, but I don't know. Do we want to go back that far?
oh wow.
Let me
Mm,
know when the cutoff is. But you send me the details you want me to share.
mm. I'm simple though. I think I'm simple. I don't have too many. I'm just not I'm just not a fan of like weave. That's it.
Of what?
Weave. Like long flowing.
Okay, so let me tell you in Girl Talk Girl. Okay, so this is Dion. Dion, he's outdoorsy. He's brainy. He's a
Yeah.
hopeless romantic,
Yeah.
right? He does like his girls naturally. Don't like. I've never known him to date anyone that I knew he dated seriously that had a whole bunch of weed. If they did,
No.
it was very well
Hidden.
integrated into the hair system. They got to be intelligent, professional. He is a partnership type marriage person, but he does want a very thick layer of romance and love there. He's a Pisces, bless his heart. You know how they are. What else? He's very responsible, takes care of his parents.
Love my parents.
Consistent, very consistent, hard worker, got a couple of jobs.
Jamaican.
Is college educated. I ain't gonna get into exactly what you do, so I'll leave that alone. Um, Versatile. Um, if a If stuff hit the fan, he got you. He got a way out. He's a country boy. He knows his way around a handgun to three. And can grow, can get garden, farming. Yes, no. Did we
Yeah,
ever talk about
I
that?
can grow. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. He's also a skilled carpenter as well. Very good with his hands. So yeah, there you go, girl. That's the womanish, and he's frugal. But he's frugal, but he does
I'm
make
not cheap.
purchases when need by. He's not cheap.
Yeah, I'm
He's
not
not
cheap.
cheap. Um, well traveled, does not have a problem having fun. One day he'll have to tell us the story of Mardi Gras, his COVID Mardi Gras story. Did you
Uh,
already tell that one?
I don't want to tell that one. Oh, I still have flashbacks. Somebody asked me about
Yes,
going
I
back to
was
New
actually
Orleans.
thinking about her or Terry, but I don't know Terry's situation. So, yep, I think so too. I think they could balance each other out a little bit. But either way, so um I think the Mardi Gras COVID Mardi Gras story would be hilarious
That's
to tell.
crazy, man. I'm not.
Yep,
I
she's
don't.
frugal too. Didn't she used to work for the IRS? I think Angela used to work for the IRS. So she on her money game. She's very as well.
Bam, bam, bam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I think that would be cute.
Man, we get to 2 hours so fast.
Child, this is just a regular conversation for us.
I know, right? I wish we could have done it from the car while I was driving from Durham.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. It is what it is. Yep, she did used to work for the IRS. So there you go. You know she got good credit if she worked for
You got
IRS.
good credit? I know that's right.
She got to. She
I
got
know
to
that's
have good credit if she worked for the IRS, child. Because
do
honey,
you have, do you have to have good credit working for that?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Oh, she just built a townhouse the other year.
That's
Look,
what
look,
I'm talking about.
mhm. Is she up in Virginia? It ain't quite DC, but
Hey, it's below the Mason Dixon line.
basically, yeah.
Man,
And she
so
she does come from a very good family. I know her family,
you know me, I don't
but
winter well, so gotta stay below that line.
you so silly.
Yeah,
But
I don't
yeah,
winter well.
but yeah, I again not reveling in his death, of course, because that's something we all got to deal with one day,
You right.
and that's the sobering part of it. That and how this is going to affect his mother.
Oh,
Um,
Mother's Day, yeah.
yeah, so it's not something to laugh or rejoice in because again, either way, if you believe in what scripture says, he's gone through his he's being judged. you know. So just
Probably
depending
already been
on
judged, yeah.
mhm. So it's sad in that respect as a human to other human. Yes, it's sad. Um and like I said, or like the music that I chose for us coming in, the work he has done is speaking for him, and some people are upset with what's being said. Some people are upset. Yeah, that's him trying to tickle my throat to get me to be quiet. But whatever, I'm gonna get this part out. That's what's being said. The people. There's lots of people who couldn't stand him because he talked a lot of trash. Ooh, yeah, she got. I'm telling you, Adrian got to hook up now.
Dion's
Look
in
at Dion.
DC.
No, he's in RDU, Raleigh Durham area. But
Durham,
he
North
spends a lot of
Carolina.
time. He spends a lot of time back home in the
Duplin
States.
County. Wallace.
Hmm. I don't know what it is about Duplin County. I dated somebody else from Duplin County.
Really?
Yeah.
You told me.
I don't think I did.
I thought you told
I'm
me you
about to
did.
put this in the private chat. Oh, if y'all know something,
It's pretty down here. Lots of space.
I hope you don't know this person. Look
I
in the
can be
private
to
chat.
I can be in the beach in what 45 minutes.
Look in the private chat, D.
Let's see.
I hope you did not date. I hope you don't know this person.
I do not know him,
Good. Very good.
but the
Very good.
name sounds familiar.
And it probably does. And I'm gonna put in the chat why.
Mm.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
How old was he? He might be on my
Oh,
friends list.
probably. He's in this place now. And he's look, we up here talking in code. Hmm. He used to preach in Durham. He was at a I can't think of the name, but it was a real popular church. It was like apparently
Oh,
around the
world over. He looked
2010.
like the world
Yes.
overcomers guy.
Yeah, he
Yes,
is. He
he
was
was at
somebody. He
World
did preach
Overcomers.
there.
I
Mm-hmm.
know him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know he was from Duplin County though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was an interesting 11 months.
Oh, Ernie, I didn't know he was from Duplin
What you
County.
wish?
Oh, ooh,
You will
did I?
you will
Did I
answer. You
say?
did. That
We're
you
gonna edit that
did.
out. I'm
You better
sorry.
edit that out. We don't be name dropping.
Oh, my bad.
I'll have to tell you about that off camera.
Mm. I done name drop the church too. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
I remember him.
Yep. We dated when he did his initial sermon.
Bro, you about to be a first lady.
Apparently, it wasn't first lady material. And considering the way my life is gone, that was probably a very accurate. That was an accurate assessment.
He's doing it up. Let me get off this man page. We got a lot of friends in common though. Oh
We
my goodness.
certainly do. Yeah. I blocked him though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't see. I block a lot of. I have blocked a lot of people. But that's just a personal thing. Hmm.
Ooh, my cousin Yosara
Oh, okay. I know
just
who you're talking about.
posted. She said, "I don't wish ill will on anyone. However, Kevin Samuel is a prime example of the need of African American men to seek therapy instead of getting therapy to resolve his deep hatred of black women, whether it
Hmm.
resulted from a toxic ex, a toxic mother who may have neglected or abused him, generational curses,
Hmm.
etc. Creating a podcast dedicated to bashing black women and single mothers is not going to help you heal your trauma. It's sad his last moments on earth were dedicated to bashing rather than seeking his own healing, speaking life into his community, and encourage unity between black men and women. When you need help, but end up when you need help, but end up with followers. Wow,
Hmm. I love her. I've always liked her.
she just spoke that one.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, it's got to be
What?
one. You must have never
Reply.
listened to his content fully and just heard what people said and viewing clips. He wasn't blashing women. He did no more than City Girls or Megan the Stallion does to men. Here we go. Wow. They always use the same terminology. City Girls, Megan the Stallion. He actually made a lot of sense, and his arguments were based off statistics that can easily be looked up. That men did not bash women. He held the ones that called his show accountable. That's another buzzword. Accountability for their disrespect. Accountability, City Girls.
Dang on it, I don't have a marker. I can't make one of my signs like I want to. Hold on, I'll be right back. You go, keep going, keep going. Get on my nerves. All of this mess. Talk about some accountability. Spell accountability.
He said, another response to that critic says, obviously, many have listened to his content fully as much as we could stand. He was consistently bashing women of color, and all his banter wasn't based on statistics. He got more followers and money for being cruel. He sold his soul. Megan and the City Girls 2%. What about the 90% of the male rappers who are fluid in their disrespect of women? Gaslighting. Kevin lived by the sword and had zero empathy. So don't expect people to have any for him. Maybe he should have been more accountable during his life. Okay, Cupid. Sorry. I'm done. I'm done. Okay, Cupid is not a source. I am done.
Soon and very
But I
soon.
like this. Kevin lived by the sword and had zero empathy. So don't expect people to have any for him. Maybe he should have been more accountable than. Okay, Cupid is not a source.
Mm, 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 mm.
City
Mm-hmm.
girls. City girls. That's all you hear. City girls, city girls. Uh, I think we done talk. Well,
May the work I've done speak for me. This side of the church stand up. We're gonna file out and view the body on the way out.
friends and family first.
Speak for me.
Rest in peace, brothers Kevin.
When I'm resting in my
The repass will be at O'Shea Duke's house.
there is nothing that can be said. May the work the lead attorney will read the will after everyone has left. This the one.
Paul Bearers.
Will be Tory Lanez.
These same people laugh when Megan got seen. Now they want empathy. Tommy Sotomayor and Paul Bearer.
Mm-hmm. Obsidian. Mm-hmm. And 3 random kitten heels that'll be outside meowing. They'll help. No, the kittens. The kittens can carry his flowers across to the graveyard.
I bet you it's gonna be a full funeral. Like they're gonna be in the street.
It'll be somebody out there pouring a few 40s. Somebody gonna pass out.
Yes, O'Shea Dukes.
Yes, yes. What color they supposed to wear to the funeral? You know, the friends and family. Tight 3-piece suits.
Probably. Knowing him.
Plenty of Vaseline going around.
I wonder what cologne they're gonna put on him. You know, Dear Minister Chapter, you would. They're gonna have the cussing preacher.
Honey, oh no, the
That
cousin
guy.
preacher, he did not like him.
He didn't like him.
He did not like him. I gotta find that video. The cussing preacher cussed him out, and this has been a while back. The cussing preacher said y'all that basically they was trifling. They didn't want to work. Any man that wants a penny out of his woman's purse is some stuff that I can't say. That a real man ain't gonna ask a woman to pay not a dime in a bill if she open her purses for her children. I said, okay, cussing minister. That's that old school, honey. Yes. Sing it, sister. Sing it. I'll stop. Yeah.
It's gonna be in Atlanta.
Of course. This nut said they're gonna wear white and taupe.
Go wear what?
White and taupe.
White and taupe.
Oh gosh. And put some sunglasses on him. Because I believe that same video where he was going over some perfumes or something. Oh, he had a video where he talked about I'm done. Where he was going over sunglasses. Something about some sunglasses. I don't know. They'll be the ones. They're gonna be the sponsors.
Depending on where it is, I might
you will
get
not
out there to the spectator. I just want to spectate because I know that's gonna be that's gonna be interesting.
It'll be something.
That's gonna be interesting. Because how are you gonna have a service and not bring that up? Like, can you have a service and not, I guess they'll have like a private service, I guess. But
honestly, all jokes aside, I think that for the safety of his family, considering how some of these people have been radicalized, almost according to this FBI, have a private ceremony, and I wouldn't even tell folks where he was buried.
Where he buried at?
Because there's some, I mean, it's some sick ones out there that followed this man. Called him the Godfather. Look, it's a meme, child. Somebody done went and put Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Kevin Samuel's face all together on a tricolage.
We're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing this.
I'm telling you. I am telling you, they going off the deep end over this man. And I saw it. Where did I see that? I saw it was on Facebook, but I'm trying to remember what group I saw it in. They really going there. I'm telling you, this man is.
Oh Lord. What time is it?
That's what I'm saying.
It's
10:32 for me. Yeah, you got some Mother's Day prep to work on for you.
Mother's Day prep. We got I wonder what we're gonna take it to eat.
I'm sending my mom my Cash App.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her money, and I got a photo book made of our DC trip.
That's sweet. For.
Yeah, she wanted to go to the White House before before Barack left the White House. She wanted to tour, and we took a lot of pictures. So I had that Google photo book made. She loved it.
That's sweet. Oh,
do the podcast on location. Yeah, like go live.
You be there, and I'll be on this end. I ain't wearing. I don't have no funeral hat up here. Maybe I'll put a flower on my hair wrap or something.
They may have a public viewing.
I think but honestly, they need to live stream that. They don't. I would not. If I was in his family, and I don't know how much his family knew of what he did, but I'm sorry. I wouldn't let none of them crazy folks come around me.
right? It's like a who's who of the manosphere, and yeah, some of them are nuts.
Mm-mm. I wouldn't let none of them come around me. The only ones I would trust would be his line brothers because he's a noob.
How did I know?
Yeah, he's a kappa. That's the only ones I would trust because they're not gonna let it go so far. Shut up.
Oh Lord. Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be hilarious. As a bunch of people show up in Bonnie.
I cannot. When I tell you this girl ain't got no sense,
Show up in a
I
body.
mean, she ain't got no sense. Okay. Yep.
Did
I'm
did
saying.
Monique gonna have a problem with you?
Yes. I'm just now getting back good with Monique in my head. It's not like I actually know
Uh,
her. Um, yeah. Either way, either way. So you ready to go? Don't get ready for your
I'm
Mother's
ready to
Day.
go. I know. It's been fun. This has been fun. Well,
I told you it was gonna be a good one. When we want to come back and
yeah.
continue with our book
Oh,
review of Is Marriage for White People.
woo. We can't do Sunday. Not this Sunday, because by the
No,
time I
we
get
can't do
back
this Sunday.
from eating, yeah,
Well, how did you feel about that Wednesday? Or no, hold on, wait.
Wednesday,
You
Wednesday,
adjusted your work
Wednesday's good
schedule that
now.
one time. Is it?
Now Wednesday, I don't work on Wednesday night.
Okay. You think that's a good time to come back? And we can continue. How about
Yeah,
we can talk about
and
this
then
off camera,
Saturday.
but what do you think about us doing two a week? One where we like stick with the book review or whatever topic, and then the one on Saturday night we talk about current events like this.
That'll work. You done
Okay.
sign me up for 2 nights a week.
For a twofer. See, I can do that because my husband away. He's active duty right now, so I ain't got nothing else to do.
Really? He's stationed somewhere?
Well, he has an assignment, and it's just until the end of May.
He has an
So,
assignment.
you know,
Okay.
yeah, he's going on assignment for at least the next 4 weeks. So I'm really not doing anything but working. Now he'll be back by Memorial Weekend, but I don't think we're not recording Memorial Weekend, are we?
No. Memorial
Okay.
weekend, because I'm gonna be busy the whole time. We
Yeah, I'm
could
gonna be in the
if you
woods.
okay, you're gonna be in the woods.
Unless we're gonna
Probably
pre-record something or go back
I'm
and do some
probably gonna be
highlights.
I'm probably gonna be somewhere with a plate of fish, shrimp,
Mm-hmm.
probably all kinds of stuff,
Cause
probably on the
and
beach.
yeah, because we're gonna be fishing that weekend. So I'm gonna be in the woods camping, fishing, and chilling with some friends. And we'll probably go shooting that weekend too. Country girl stuff.
I'm looking at I'm part of the Black Podcast Network on Facebook, and they're
Mm-hmm.
posting looking for female co-hosts slash podcasters so we can break down the Kevin Samuel legacy. Trust me, it's gonna be big. Trust me.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. But
Mm-mm.
anyway, we
I
ain't gonna get
refuse.
back on
Okay.
them. Okay. But yeah, that'll work for me.
All
Wednesday,
right
Saturday.
then.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
It
Good
was
night.
good chatting. Talk to you later. Thanks for joining us, Adrian.
I know you are hilarious.
Mm-hmm. She's a mess.
All right. Take care. Bye
All
bye.
right. Good night.